Today I'm going to be demonstrating the use of Win4Yaesu suite with N1MM Plus contest logging software and a Yaesu FTDX 5000. In particular, I want to show you some new functionality of Win4Yaesu suite which allows interoperability with the N1MM Plus spectrum monitor. What you're seeing here is Win4Yaesu suite controlling an FTDX 5000, and the FTDX 5000 is connected to an SDRPlay RSP through the radio's IF output. In addition, we have N1MM Plus contest logging software running on a virtual port that is provided by Win4Yaesu suite. Now, the nice new feature of N1MM Plus is the new spectrum display window. This window, and I'm going to open it up right now, shown here, follows the Win4Yaesu suite spectrum scope in real time. Anything that I do in the spectrum scope, such as panning back and forth, are reflected in the N1MM Plus spectrum monitor in real time. So I could, for example, zoom right in, I can zoom out, I can zoom in, and everything you do interoperates perfectly well with N1MM Plus. Now for contests, N1MM Plus provides some pretty unique features. I'm now going to enable the cluster spots shown up here. I'm going to select the first one. These are coming from a cluster that I have connected here, and they are now displayed in the spectrum. Again, they follow the spectrum very, very closely. If I want to zoom in some more, I can zoom right in. And there we go. Now, for contests, N1MM provides some pretty unique features. What I'm going to now show is that we can select only spots that you can hear. So if I click on this particular spot, menu entry, I can then use the mouse to basically set a threshold for the spots that I can see and or hear on the spectrum. As I lower it down, you'll notice that more and more spots start to appear, and chances are that many of these spots, such as this one up here, all are audible. This is a really, really nice new feature. Of course, everything such as clicking on spots causes a QSY of the radio, and so on. Okay, now I'm going to talk about how to configure the spectrum broadcast feature of Win4Yaesu suite. In the Tools Settings menu, there's a new section called the PAN Adapter UDB Broadcast. There's a number of parameters that need to be set here. However, for N1MM, the defaults actually work as is. So the first thing you need to select is a stream name. This has to be unique on your network, because you could have multiple software packages running during a contest, for example, and you could have multiple N1MM spectral displays if you wish. So you pick a unique name. By default, this is Win4Yaesu suite. You also need to set an IP address. In this case, this is set to the local host, and the port. The value of 13064 is the default for the N1MM Plus spectrum display. In addition, you need to set the number of data points. This is set to 2048. I have also given the capability to send all the data at the full rate, but this will not be used with N1MM, but with a future product. You can also set the frame rate. By default, it's set to full, so it's basically sending all of the data as it comes from Win4Yaesu suite down to N1MM, but you can also set 5 frames per second, 3 frames per second, or 1 frame per second. If you have a slower computer, you're going to want to experiment with this and possibly set it to 5 or 3. Okay, that's basically all you have to do in Win4Yaesu suite. Now in N1MM, you need to open the spectrum display, and if you right click, you'll get the menu for the spectrum. And in the spectrum source, you need to select, for all other radios, source named. So there's the name that was entered in the settings in Win4Yaesu Suite. So you only have to enter it there, and that's it. Everything is configured. Now, you don't always want to be broadcasting data, and you're not always going to be using N1MM. So I've made this so that you have to enable it. You actually have to enable the Spectrum broadcast. Now, to do that, I've provided a way to have a very small little menu. If you go over to where the control panel button is, and you right-click, you can open the UDP broadcast controls. You get this little tiny window here. All you have to do is click on Enable, and that's it. It's now running. The reference level here actually sets the level of the spectrum in the N1MM window. So if I lower it, I can lower it right down. I can lower it so that I don't see any noise and just see data peaks. Some people would prefer to have it that way. I like to see a little bit of the baseline when I do it myself. Basically, that's it. There you have it. Okay. I'd like to mention that this software also works with the FTDX 1200, the 3000, the 5000, and is in beta for the 9000. It also works with an SDRPlay, RSP1 or 2, or an LPPAN PAN adapter. Well, that's it. This version will be out this Friday. Thanks for watching.